Welcome to our channel. Have you ever walked into a room, perhaps a high-end gala or a quiet business lunch, and felt a sudden, invisible chill in the air? It is not the air conditioning, and it is not a ghost. It is the sound of a social bridge burning to the ground because someone just committed a blunder they did not even realize was a mistake. Some people move through these circles like they were born in them, making everyone feel at ease, while others seem to leave a trail of awkward silence and checked watches in their wake. The difference often has nothing to do with your bank account balance or the brand of your shoes. It has everything to do with your understanding of the invisible boundaries and how you manage the social cost you impose on others. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the 10 specific social habits that act as a silent alarm for the wealthy and successful. These are the moments that make people quietly block your number or remove you from the guest list for the next big opportunity. The first major blunder is treating familiarity like a get-out-of-jail-free card, or what we call using closeness as a shield to trample over boundaries. We have all met that person who thinks being friendly means having no filter whatsoever. They meet you for 5 minutes and suddenly they are acting like your long-lost sibling. They start asking about your monthly take-home pay, the exact square footage of your house, or the intimate details of your last relationship. They might even decide to use your most embarrassing childhood nickname in front of your professional colleagues or your spouse, just to prove how close they are to you. They think this creates a warm, lively atmosphere, but in high-level circles, this is seen as a massive lack of discretion. To people with significant resources, boundaries are not a sign of coldness, they are a sign of order. Successful people are constantly crossing between different circles and industries, and they need to know that the people they bring along understand distance and respect. If you treat a relationship like a personal ATM, where you only withdraw someone's privacy and patience without ever making a deposit of respect, they will not cause a scene, but they will quietly stop sharing information and opportunities with you because they are terrified of what you might say in a more sensitive environment. The second blunder is one that seems minor but is actually a deal breaker for the highly efficient. Treating other people's time as your personal shock absorber. This includes being perpetually 5 or 10 minutes late, changing the meeting time at the 11th hour, or showing up with an uninvited guest without asking first. Most people think a quick apology and a soft tone of voice can fix a delay, or they assume that making someone wait is a subtle power move that proves they are the more important person in the room. However, to a person whose schedule is packed tighter than a game of professional Tetris, time is not just a matter of manners. It is a matter of risk management. If you cannot manage a 10-minute gap for coffee, why would they trust you to manage a project that lasts a year? If you change the terms of a lunch date today, they will assume you will change the terms of a legal contract tomorrow. High-quality connections are built on predictability. Can you show up when you say you will? And just as importantly, can you end the meeting when it is supposed to end? When you disrupt a precisely planned schedule, you are essentially forcing the other person to pay the cost of your lack of organization. And that is one of the most expensive social debts you can incur. Third, we have the firefighter networking style, where you only appear when your own house is on fire. You know the type. You have not heard from them in 3 years, and then suddenly you get a message that says, "Hey, long time no see, by the way. Can you introduce me to that billionaire you know?" Or, "Can you give me a job lead?" These people treat social connections like a savings account where they never put money in but are always trying to withdraw cash. While the world does run on mutual help, mature social circles are incredibly sensitive to takers. A valuable person in a network is not someone who knows the most people. It is someone who provides stable, predictable value. Can you provide reliable data? Can you save someone time? Can you help manage a risk? If you only show up when you need something, you are signaling that you only care about short-term gains, not long-term partnerships, and you will never be invited into the inner circle where the real, high-trust deals happen. The fourth blunder is being a stage hog who turns every conversation into a one-man show. Some people are so terrified of being overlooked that they constantly interrupt others, steal the spotlight, and make every single topic about themselves. If you talk about a vacation to Japan, they immediately cut you off to talk about their luxury tour of Switzerland. If you mention a work challenge, they chime in about the famous CEO they once advised. They might look energetic and social on the surface, but in reality, they are shutting down the flow of information. When one person dominates the room, everyone else stops sharing, and the atmosphere shifts from collaborative to competitive. Successful people look for partners who can maintain a comfortable, efficient environment without needing to be the loudest person in the room. If you are always trying to win the conversation, you will find yourself invited to plenty of loud parties, but you will be excluded from the quiet rooms where the real decisions are made. The fifth mistake is using gossip and private secrets as your social currency. It is incredibly tempting to start a conversation with, "I have a secret about so-and-so," because it creates an instant, albeit shallow, emotional bond. It makes the listener feel like they are an insider. But to a mature, high-value individual, gossip is not useful information. It is a credit score. If you are willing to trash someone else's reputation just to make small talk, they know with absolute certainty that you will do the same to them the moment they leave the room. Real value lies in information that carries responsibility, not just rumors. When you build your network on gossip, you end up in a low-trust environment where no one shares anything truly important because they are all afraid of being the next topic of conversation. You might feel like you have finally made it into the group, but you have actually just joined a circle with very low information density and very high risk. Sixth, we must talk about the clumsy way people handle money in social settings. This includes asking people exactly how much they earn, what they paid for their car, or what their percentage cut is on a deal. It also includes being overly aggressive or awkward about splitting a bill at dinner. It is a myth that wealthy people do not talk about money. They talk about it all the time. However, they focus on the structure of the deal, the risks involved, the cash flow, and the responsibilities. They do not use numbers to brag or to make others feel small. When someone is obsessed with the price tag of every single thing, it shows that they can only see what they can take from a situation, not what they can contribute. If you let a small bill become a source of friction, you are signaling that your vision is too short-term for any serious, long-term collaboration. Seventh, pay close attention to how you treat the people who can do absolutely nothing for you. Being rude to a waiter, ignoring a secretary, or being dismissive towards someone you perceive as less successful is a massive red flag. Some people think that being tough on subordinates or service staff makes them look powerful and high status, but successful people see this as a character defect. Leaders value systems and teams, and the biggest threat to any system is someone who is emotionally unstable or lacks basic respect for others. If you treat a server like they are invisible, a potential partner will assume you will treat a contract or a partnership with the same lack of integrity when it suits you. This behavior might give you a temporary ego boost, but it will cost you the trust of anyone who is looking for a reliable, long-term ally. The eighth blunder is showing up to a meeting or an event without doing your homework. We see this all the time. Someone gets an introduction to a major industry leader and then asks, "So, what exactly does your company do?" They think being spontaneous is a sign of being a natural, but in reality, it is a sign of deep disrespect. When you ask questions that could have been answered by a 3-minute search, you are forcing the other person to waste their time being your teacher. Doing your homework is not just about gathering facts. It is about demonstrating that you respect the other person's time and that you are capable of lowering the friction of a partnership. Those who prepare are the ones who pass the first round of screening because they show they are here to add value, not just to soak up resources like a sponge. Ninth, learn how to handle rejection and endings with grace. Many people think that by not replying to an invite or by dragging out a no, they are avoiding awkwardness or keeping their options open. They think saying maybe when they mean never is being polite. In reality, high-level social circles value what we call closability. People want to know where they stand so they can move on to the next task. A vague answer wastes everyone's time and creates unnecessary pressure. A clear, polite, and simple rejection like, "I cannot take on this project right now," or "My schedule is full this week," is actually much more respectful. It shows that you manage your life with logic and boundaries rather than being pushed around by your emotions. Finally, the 10th blunder is treating every social interaction like a competition you have to win. Some people walk into a room and immediately start scanning to see who has the most expensive watch, who is sitting at the head of the table, or who is the most well-connected. When someone else shares good news, their first instinct is to try and top it, or to say, "Oh, I did that years ago." This constant need to prove you are the best, the fastest, or the smartest is a glaring sign of insecurity. Truly successful people are looking for partners who can help them make the entire pie bigger, not people who are constantly trying to snatch the biggest slice of a tiny pie. If you are always competing, people will stop sharing their best ideas and resources with you because they do not want to become your next target. Socializing, at its core, is a form of cost management. If you make people feel respected and comfortable, the friction in your relationships disappears and doors start to open effortlessly. But if you make people feel used, tense, or undervalued, those doors will slowly but surely lock. The difference between someone who is rising and someone who is stuck often comes down to these small, human details. When you start carrying your own social weight and stop throwing your messes onto others, you will find that the high-quality circles you have been trying to join will actually start looking for you. Thank you for watching. If you found these insights helpful and want to learn more about the unspoken rules of success, wealth, and mindset, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a thumbs up. We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What is a social blunder that you have noticed? Your support helps us keep creating deep dives like this. See you in the next one.